Hang on, it's week 1 of Get Moving Guitar. I've partnered with Positive Grid to bring you this free 6-week course that'll get your practicing back on track by setting up a rock solid practice station. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome, friends, to episode 186 of the Play Guitar Podcast. I'm Lee, and this is the podcast that's determined to make you a better guitar player. No matter if you're just starting out or you've been playing for years, this is the show that will help you become the guitarist that you always wanted to be. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the podcast and check out the description for all of the links from the show. And this episode is brought to you by Play Guitar, actually by Positive Grid this week. It's different this week. And we have some really cool stuff coming from Positive Grid. Just a minute. So what we have here is the live stream to the beginning of Get Moving Guitar Week 1. This week we're setting everything up. We're going to take a look at our practice space. We're going to make sure that everything's in the right place. The tech is in order. And then we are going to set up our Positive Grid Spark amp, which is going to be a lot of fun. I've been getting a whole lot of things together. If you have a chance, head on over to the head on over to the web page for this episode, and we have a whole lot of stuff for you right here. One of the things that we have, let me make it a little bit bigger for you there. One of the things we have is Positive Grid is giving away to one of our listeners a free Spark amp, and there's a link there in the show notes, but I'm also going to grab a link real quick and put it in the comments as well. So we can go ahead and get that going right off the bat here. Let's see. I'm going to copy that and put it in the comments. There we go. It's positivegrid.com/play guitar. And if you go there, it's going to be for the first 3 episodes, I think you'll be able to sign up for that. So by the 4th episode, I will announce the winner of the amp, Spark amp. Excuse me. And what we're going to do today is the audio podcast is already done. The checklists are there. This is the live stream. We're going to be a little bit looser right now. I'm going to go through everything that we go through in the live stream, but we're going to get some feedback from some people. I'm going to share some clips of some tones that I've made for the amp. I was going to show you what they look like in the app, but I was doing a video today demonstrating how to install the app, and I have to reinstall it for that to happen. So, but I will have the clips for you as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started in a minute. I am going to say hi to the folks that are here. Let's see here. Coke is here. Hey, Coke, how are you doing? Hope you're doing good. David's here. Let's see here. Dean's here. Great to see you, Dean. Jim is here. Wonderful to see you. Let's see here. James is here. Hi, James. How are you doing today? Melissa's here. Hi, Melissa. How are you? And let's see here. John is here. Great to see you, John. Jason. Dwayne is here. Dino's here. Got a whole bunch of, and Michael's here too. So we got a whole bunch of people coming in. And if you're just watching, hello to you as well. Let's talk about episode 1. And we're going to have a getting prepared for success show today. We are going to make sure that our practice area is set up correctly. You have all the things that you need. Of course, with this series, we're going to be the centerpiece is going to be the Spark amp, which is, I've been spending 2 weeks now getting to know it, and there's a lot of cool stuff in there. But the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about how I discovered this Spark amp a little bit. Maybe some of you have seen the live stream David and I did. We were trying to figure it out over a live stream, and it was a lot of fun, and I had a great time helping David get his going. But as I'm going through this with David, I'm thinking, man, that's some cool features. These are some things that I would have loved to be able to have when I was practicing. It was going to make things very easy. And it also goes along with the way I teach too. We're going to talk a lot about that today. And so I'd always had in the back of my mind, I figured I was going to go to the NAMM show, and I really wanted to get in touch with Positive Grid. And then it was great. We had a call not too long ago, and we decided to bring this to you today. In the first section that we're going to talk about is called Finding or Fixing Your Practice Space. Your guitar problems sometimes are not as easy to pick out as you would think. There's been many times when I'm playing guitar, I'm not getting better. And I can't put my finger on what's wrong. They're elusive sometimes. Sometimes you spend time on the guitar and you don't have a whole lot of results. And it could be that you're standing on shaky ground where you practice and how you set up are keys to achieving goals. I remember I always used to have a corner. I had the guitar corner. I've had many guitar corners in different places that I've lived. Basically, that's where I had a whole bunch of stuff, and I'd lean it up against the wall, and I'd look at my guitars and my amps and pedals and those things, and there it was there. And every once in a while, I'd turn them on and play, but it was not a learning experience for me. It was more of seeing what I had. But as I got going through the years and been teaching and getting spaces that help really speed up progress has been a big issue with me. It's something I really enjoy figuring out. And today we're going to have a little bit of an overview of what your practice space should be. And how you can do this is head on over to, there's checklists here. In fact, step 1, I'll read through the checklist. First thing is, where do you practice guitar? Second is, have you had problems with focus or achieving goals? Now, the next one is your practice space private and distraction free? That's a big deal. That's a big deal because if you're practicing out in the middle of a whole bunch of people doing things and distracting, it turns into more of performance than it is practice. And practice is where we can play things that might not sound so good at the moment. And so we can work on them, craft them, make them better, and then present them as a performance later. But if you're always in performance, you're not really focused on the things that need to be worked on. Plus, the distractions can be, take you off course in a second. So practice space, private, distraction free. Needs to be inspiring. Do you have things around you when you practice that make you feel good, that make you feel like practicing? Like playing some guitar. I always have something, my thing, let's see if I can move out of the way here. I don't know if I can or not. Let's see. Oh, you can't really see it. I have a little crystal that has a laser etched Stratocaster in it that my mom gave me years and years ago. And I always have had that in my practice space. It makes me feel like practicing. So the other question is, are you uncomfortable when you're practicing? Do you ever practice for maybe 10-15 minutes and your back hurts, you don't feel good, and then you go off and do something else? Being comfortable is really important. Is your practice area used for multiple things? Is this a multi-purpose area? Sometimes when say other people have to use the area too, you can be taken away from practice, lose your train of thought, or you can be thinking about, while you're practicing, all of the other things that you have to be doing. So getting a practice area that is not multi-purpose, very, very important. Is your practice area organized? Staying organized, having a place to keep notes where you can keep your goals down, having the materials that you need right at hand, so that you can come in, turn everything on, and start practicing, and everything you need is right there. Very, very important. And the last thing for our practice area is, do you have a way to record your practice? It could be audio, much better video. I find video is, and a few of us, we talk about this all the time, especially with the coaching students that I see here. Video tells a lot of things. If you can see yourself practicing, it's a great way to refine your playing and pinpoint the things that you need to work on. So if you have all of those things, if you have, let's see here, a private, distraction-free, inspiring, comfortable, organized place that is not a multi-purpose place, you're in good shape. So I would say if you go to your practice space now, if you're not there already, take a look at it. Take a really good look at it and see, is this something that could be holding me back? As we go through this course, it's a 6-week course. This is really important. We need to have a really nice place for us to focus on. So let's see here. So reevaluating your place. Now we're going to talk about the setup. Oh, and Jason says, I like that the Spark feature has video recording as well. That's something we're going to be getting into and using a lot over the next 6 weeks. The video recording feature with Spark, in fact, how easy it is to bring in backing tracks to your video. So easy, just one button, pick it, and it starts playing. And you can go back and see how you're playing. It's very, very, very cool stuff. Also, the metronome in Spark is pretty cool too. I've been using that a lot. Okay, we're in part 2 now. And part 2 now is called Set It Up. And this is where we're going to make sure that we have everything working correctly. And first, we're going to talk about comfort. We talked a little bit about comfort before. The desk, table, chair, and guitar, the basics that you need. Desk, you need something where you can work. This is work that we're doing. We're trying to make sure that we are focused. And sometimes when you're on the couch, maybe you have a tablet or something like that, or maybe your phone or something like that. We need some place that's you can sit down. You need a chair with some way to get the arms of the chair out of the way. There's no way that you can have good technique when your elbows are fighting with the arms of the chair. My chair that I practice in, right back there, I can fold the arms up. But for years, I would have office chairs that didn't have arms, and those worked for a while, although they can be uncomfortable after a while. So a comfortable chair and your guitar. What guitar are we going to use? Some people say, well, I like to use my backup guitars to practice with. That way I don't wear it out too much. I don't believe in that. I believe that you should practice with your favorite guitar or the guitar that you will use. Say you're going to go out and play a gig today. What guitar are you going to use? That's a guitar you should practice with. We need time with that guitar. The more time you spend with that guitar, the better you're going to be able to get around on that guitar and more results happen. So at that point, with setup, we also are going to talk, we just talked about recording yourself with the Spark app, and then keeping notes and goals. I use something called Flowy. It's free up to a point, and it's really super easy to, in fact, I use it for all of my coaching students as well. All the information that I need to keep, what they were practicing, what I've been practicing, everything like that. It's a great way. You've got an app for the phone. It's a great way to keep things organized. Let's talk about the atmosphere. Small things close by. I would ask for you today, if you haven't already, to pick one thing, kind of like the crystal that I talk about, to bring to your practice today. Something inspirational that you like. Look for that today. One thing to bring and put in your practice area. And then the hardware. We need a stand of some sort. A guitar, maybe put it on the wall. Maybe I like to have, I've got these little portable stands because I'm moving them around a lot. So I have my guitars out, but I also have some on the wall too. You can see right there. But keep the guitars out. They don't do any good in the case. These are meant to be seen and they're meant to be heard. So we want to have them out. Plus, they make you feel like practicing more. And let's see, some way to hear yourself too. So that's where we're going with the Spark amp. The main problem that I've always had with practice amps is they didn't sound very good, and sometimes they were way too loud, and I didn't have a way to use headphones with them when I needed to. So having an amplifier, and also another big problem that just came to mind, it was always a big problem, is if I was going and jamming somewhere or I was playing out. Usually by the time you're finished doing that, when you get home, you don't feel like setting up all of your stuff again just for practicing. So having an amp that's always there, and it has a ton of different features that are made for practicing is a key thing. So we're having everything set up. All of I like to keep this small. Carol gave this to one of our students. Carol gave this to me a while ago. I keep all of the things I need, picks and capos and slides and whatever I'm needing. It's right here where I practice. So sit down. It's all right there. So those are the big setup things. But we have another part that we're going to be using throughout the next 6 weeks, and that is getting the tech set up. What tech are we going to use? And this is going to be the most challenging part. What do we need for the course, and what hardware and software is going to make this happen for us? The first thing we need is some sort of way to connect to the internet. A laptop, I'm using back there in this station, laptop or desktop is going to be key. Why? Because we need to be able to use to view PDF lesson pages, and those are going to course pages. I'm also going to have a section, actually its own little course I'm putting together right now, starting next week for this. So some way that's a little bit bigger than a phone or a tablet, something where you can really see things to keep organized. We're going to also need that for a digital audio workstation. Recording is going to be part of the 6-week course. When you have your laptop or your desktop, and some way to get into multi-track recording. Now, Positive Grid has made that very easy. They've partnered with PreSonus, and they have a version of Studio One that we're going to be using this week. And I have a video that's coming on the main page that's going to show it all about setting these things up here. The next thing we're going to need is some sort of an audio interface, some way to get your guitar into the computer, to be recorded. So that's another place where this is going to, the Spark Amplifier is going to make things very easy. It is a super easy audio interface for a guitar. I've had a million audio interfaces. I've had they wear out over time. They're very difficult to set up a lot of times. This wasn't. This was really easy. And if you've ever had an audio interface before, sometimes you'll have when you go to pick what channel you're using, you'll have so many different options that you can go left channel, right channel, stereo 1 to preamp 3, preamp 4. This just has one in. It's really super easy to work with. We're also going to need some sort of a PDF viewer. I use Foxit Reader, but you can use Adobe. And let's see here. We're going to need some sort of amplifier or amp sim technology. The Spark, for me, is going to be helping me out with that. Speakers or headphones. So with the Spark, there's two ways you can really listen to it. You can listen to it through its own speakers here. This is a 40-watt box. There's plenty of volume on this. It's also a Bluetooth. It's full range, so it's also a Bluetooth speaker as well. It gets loud. Most of the time, I have it, in my practice area, very, very quiet, barely on. But it can really cook. But you can use headphones with it very easily, and you can put it into a mixer, which I do as well, and listen to it on the bigger speakers too. Have to have some way to hear ourselves. And then the last thing that we're going to need is some sort of Android or Apple mobile device. And that's going to be used for controlling a ton of the features on the amp as well. And so this week we're going to spend getting all of this set up. We're going to take this technology and make it to the point where it's super easy to use. And that takes a little bit of time. So it's a very good, to start with this right away. For the rest of this lesson, we're going to talk about how I set up my practice station here using Spark, and we're going to take care of all these tasks in a very easy way. So as you've seen over there, people have been watching the videos in the back. It's a very streamlined practice space. It's got my phone, my laptop, my amp, Spark amp, and my guitar. That's it. Super simple to use. First thing is we have to use some software to run the Spark app. That's the first thing that we're going to work on. I have video, actually filmed it today. I'll be editing it tonight. So by when the main podcast comes out, we'll have the video for this, and we're going to be installing the app on the phone. Now, in installing this app on the phone, I also go through how to set up the Bluetooth connections. That's an important part of this, and it's all done very easily right when you set up the app. Okay, so what happens is you go to the App Store or the Play Store, depending on which one you have. You type in Spark Amp app. That's a big problem in the beginning because there's another app called a Spark app. So if you just put in Spark there, another app will come up. So Spark Amp app, super important. When you load that up, it will ask you, do you want to connect to the Spark amp? You turn that on, make sure your Bluetooth is on, and they connect right away. But that's just one connection. As you'll see in the video, that's the supplemental video. When you come back to the app, when it starts to work, then it has another screen that pops up. Would you like to connect your audio to it as well? That makes it a Bluetooth speaker, a regular one. So you could listen with Spotify, anything that you wanted to stream from your phone into the app, and also some of the features that we're going to be using as well. So that's a very important setup thing. So we have the app installed and 2 Bluetooth connections. And the video I have goes through all of that. You can take a look at that tomorrow when the full podcast comes out. The next thing we have is a Studio One. And if you don't have a digital audio workstation, I'd suggest you use this one. It's provided for you. It's free. PreSonus, make sure that it's free for everyone, this version. And Positive Grid has a relationship with them. In fact, they have a QR code on the card when you get your Spark amp that you can go there and sign up and download this digital audio workstation. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It works on tons and tons of different computers. It's a pretty neat thing. We're going to be seeing more and more of that as we go through this week. But if you have Windows, there is another step that has to be made. There is a driver for the Spark Amplifier, and I'm going to have a link to that on the show notes page. I'll be putting that in after we get done today. It's the Windows Spark Amp driver that has to be put in first before we are able to use the Spark amp with your PC. And actually, I like it a lot too because my PC, the laptop over there, I'm using the Spark as the speakers for the amp, and it sounds much better than the speakers that were on there. So once we do that, we've got, let's review a little bit. We've got the amp, the Spark amp app installed. We have the Bluetooth set up. We have Studio One, which is very easy install. It's from PreSonus, and you can download that, set that up. There'll be a video for that as well. The Spark amp driver for Windows. For Macintosh, for Apple, it's not an issue. It's plug and play. But for Windows, we have to have the driver. And the last thing is a PDF viewer on your PC. So I use Foxit Reader. You can use Adobe. They all work with some sort of way to look at PDFs. Let's talk about making the connections. So we made our Bluetooth connections already. But the last thing we have to talk about as far as connections is a USB cable that comes with it. It's a regular USB. So if you have a Mac, if you have Apple USB-C connections, that's something you have to think about ahead of time. As some sort of a cable, or I don't know if they sell an adapter, or you have to get a whole new cable. But you'll have to deal with that on your end. I think that the one that comes is just regular old USB. So at this point, we're set up. We have the app, we have Bluetooth control, we have Bluetooth audio, we have our USB set up, and all of the software set up. So we are ready to go for the next 6 weeks, 5 weeks after today from this. And so the last thing that we're going to need is we're going to need some good tones. And Spark Amp comes with 4 basic tones built in, but you can go through the app and you can get your different in the tone cloud and find all sorts of different tones. And what ends up happening is sometimes you can spend a lot of time finding tones. It's a lot of fun, but it's enormous. And getting some basic tones down, and I decided to use the 4 presets on here and to get some sounds for you today. I'm gonna play the sounds for you, and then I'm going to tell you how that you can go on the tone cloud, and Positive Grid's tone cloud, and search for those tones. So I'm going to, let's see here. So I've set up 4 basic tones for practice. We have a clean tone, a crunch tone, a high gain tone, and a lead tone. Those are going to be the 4 that we're going to be using. Now, there's tons of different sounds in there, but I think it's good to have on the amp itself. So just say you just want to sit down and play some solid tones for you right there. So I'm going to go ahead and play them for you first, and then I'll try and show. I'm going to try and get my phone to stream. I was having issues later, so you can see how you can find these. So let's start with the clean right here. I'm going to play clean clip 1. Now here is okay, so there's my clean sound. Now the clean sound that's on there was kind of a solid state clean, and I've replaced it with this one. I'm trying to get my app loaded up as we go here and show you. In fact, I'm going to spend the time right now trying to get this. Okay, hold on 1 second. Here we go. Let's see. Just a moment here. See if this will mirror for us. Okay, so I'm going to go over to the tone cloud. Let's see, here's clean 1. Okay, here we go. So this is what I used. It looks like an orange clean type amp, the AD clean. Now this to me gave a much more, I was looking for a Fender type clean sound. Clean sound that was built in, I think was using like a Roland type clean sound, which is good, but it's not as versatile as this. this is. And if you'll take a look here, I've went through this preset. I started with a regular preset, put a new amp in, got a compressor running on it as well. No drive from the clip that you just heard. And then I've got a mod pedal on as well, which we'll bring in a second. Some Echoplex and some Hall reverb. Now, what I find when I'm practicing is I like to have a tube screamer usually on all the time or off, if I need something pristine clean. But with the tube screamer on, I can roll all the way up and have a light gainy kind of lead for a little sustain, and I can roll back and still get the clean that I'm looking for. So here's a clip of this amp with the tube screamer. Now remember, this is just the clean amp with that tube screamer in front of it. Very cool. That's a great model of a tube screamer. Okay. And that's just at some of the different positions. All right. And so then I wanted to make sure that sometimes I need some sort of a chorus or some sort of mod pedal right here. And the mod pedal, let's see here, which one am I? I went for the tremolo. So I went for something that's, it's got kind of a vintage sound, but can also be used in, more modern music as well. And I didn't want a tremolo that chopped off. I don't know if you've ever heard those where the tremolo is playing, but it goes down to 0. It sounds almost like it's sections of it are chopped out. I wanted something that was almost like a chorus pedal, but had a tremolo sound. So here is the clean with the tremolo on. It's very light. So this is all one preset. This is called the Clean One PGP, and it's very easy to store in. You just hit your menu, and at the bottom here, you can't see it. Let me see if I can make it a little bit more. At the bottom here, it says Save as Hardware Preset, and then it will let you pick out of the 4 which one that you would like to put that on. And I put that on my first one right there. And so with that one preset, we get 3 sounds. We get the regular clean of the orange amp that has a very Fendery type sound. We get that clean sound with drive. So we're getting our tube screamery light drive distortion. It's almost John Mayer sounding. And then we have the clean sound with the vibrato pedal on, which is a very classic type sound. So those 3 sounds really essential to a lot of the stuff that I do, and all in one preset. Let's move on. Let's go to our next preset. So our next preset is the crunch preset. So for the crunch preset, I used more of a vintage Marshall type sound. This is the plexiglass Marshall Plexi style sound. Let's take a listen to that. I've got all 3 of them in one. So this is just the bridge on my Strat. It's got breakup when you play hard, but when you back off, it cleans up a little bit. This is great for any sort of classic rock stuff, even blues stuff. If you play on the neck pickup, you can get a lot of great blues tones this way. And as we go, and I'm starting to play a little more Hendrixy type things, Robin Trower type things. And let's take a look here. I had a drive pedal that I put in, and I used the fuzz pedal. So we're right in Hendrix type territory right here. Notice I have the volume all the way up, and I have the fuzz at halfway. So it's not super, super, super fuzzed out. It's very usable. So then, on the mod pedal, says it has a flanger on it. I wasn't going for the flanger at first. I was going for the Univibe sound. But this is what's on here now, so maybe I went with the flanger instead. I've been picking this flanger a lot. I really like this a lot. But sometimes you need a little bit of a chewier kind of sound with a crunch, and so that the flanger or a Univibe would work very nice. Very good stuff. And that crunch on the neck pickups is going to give you some really cool sounds. Okay, so there's our crunch, and we've got 3 tones with the crunch. So for the clean, we had 3, the crunch, so we have 6 tones right now from 2 presets, and this was the crunch. Add in the fuzz, or add in the flanger, or take it away. Let's move on to the next sound we're going to need for the course, and that's high gain course. So here is the high gain preset that I have here. It's using the Switch Axe amp. I'm just going to play it for you first, and then we'll look into it after that. Okay, so this, I was really impressed with this. It's called the Switch Axe. It's a model, I think it's after like a Hughes and Kettner type amp. I went through all the different ones, and this one has a really, really tight, especially for a Strat, has a very tight high gain sound. It's got a nice mix, highs and lows. So if you can crank the highs a little bit, it's really going to stick out in the mix. But if you want it to be fatter sounding, then you can. Very easy to play too. It doesn't fight you straight off the bat. I do have a little bit of a compressor on there. You can take that on and off. The delay that you're hearing is the digital delay. It sounds just like my Boss DD3, and the reverb is a short plate sound. So not tons and tons of sounds that are going to fight each other when you start layering when we record later on in the course. So let's take a listen now. I'm going to put in the drive pedal, and the drive pedal, this is like a rat type pedal, and so we want something a little bit more saturated, and here we go. Now you hear this rat pedal. It gives a push kind of sound, a lead guitar kind of sound, but it can go several different ways. I just went straight, hard rock with that. But remember, this is still a Strat that we're using for this. You can get Jeff Beck style sounds with this rat pedal. You can use this in front of this amp or the Crunch amp and get some really nice Jeff Beck type sounds. Very cool. And the filter on this is kind of like the tone, the tone knob, but it works kind of backwards on a rat style pedal. So, to add more high end, go this way to the left instead of to the right. But once we got that, I want to also play the high gain with that flanger that I was using before. And we're kind of in Van Halen territory right now. And all I did with this was I turned the rat pedal off, Black Ops pedal off, and then I put in the flanger. That's all it was. So really good tones with that. So now we've got our 3 clean tones, our 3 crunch tones, 3 different high gain tones. Let's talk about lead guitar. We're going to try and get something that cuts a little bit, has a lot of sustain. And for that, let's go to lead 4 PGP. I kept the same amp, which was the Switch Axe amp. And I'm just going to play without the boost pedal or the trem pedal right now. Okay, so a lot of what I did, I changed out the compressor, put the LA comp on, made it a little bit more in your face in front, added more delay, and then I changed the reverb to a classic plate reverb. So whenever you use a plate reverb, it kind of adds more weight to something. It doesn't thicken it, but it makes it wider to me. It's kind of like there's something right behind it that's pushing it out forward. I really like this classic plate there. And the delay was the same delay. I think I added a little bit more and made it a little bit more open. And then I went in on the next one and I added the overdrive. So you can add this and take it in, take it out on this preset, all over you want. Now this kind of goes to those Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, Zach Wilde. This is it sounds to me kind of like the OD3 pedal or maybe a DS1 type pedal. But let's take a listen to that. Okay, so I just played that quick little riff. I don't know why that just popped out when I started playing around, but just putting this pedal in front of it gives it almost a vocal quality. So we're still taking it didn't change the amp up a whole lot, but it adds that solo lead guitar sound that I really, really like. And then the last thing we're going to do on this tone is a square tremolo. This is more of a hard tremolo right here, and I find it works pretty nice with lead. So let's take a listen. So I really like that. You would want to time the speed of that with whatever song that you're playing, but that's very useful too. So what we have here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different tones just out of 4 presets that are all usable, all something that you can record with. You might stay with the clean ones all the time. You might stay with high gain ones all the time. Whatever that you're looking for. I know with these 4 tones, I can write a lot of songs and I can do most of the things that I do when I'm recording. So what I'm going to show you is we're going to go over to Tone Cloud. Okay. And then I'm going to press search up top. And when it says search in Tone Cloud, it's taking a second. Play. guitar podcast. And we'll search for that. And if you, underneath here, when it comes up under title, no results will happen like that. But if you go to the right of that, say tag. Okay. And right here, you've got all 4 of those presets. And all you would do is download, you press, say for clean 1, you would download that, press the red button. That would bring it up on your device, your phone, and then you could play that sound through there. And then if you want to save that as one of the 4 presets, all you do is when you go, let's go back here. So let's go back to clean. So say you press the clean right there, and you go up here to the top right where there's the 3 dots, and at the bottom, we showed that earlier. Let's see at the bottom there, save hardware preset. You hit that, and then it'll ask you 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can put it. I would suggest putting 1 in right there. Okay, so let's move back over to the checklist here. We're going to wrap everything up. This is week 1, setup for success. We've gone over step 1, find or reworking your space. And there's a question for you and a checklist. These are all, they'll remember your checks as you go in there. You can go through each one and make sure that the place that you're practicing is set up for you to succeed. And if it isn't, you can take steps to make that happen. Step 2 is setting things up once you have everything together. Your desk, your table set up, comfortable chair, laptop, desktop computer, your phone or tablet. Your guitar is easily accessible. Your amplifier is within reach. At least one inspirational object close by. Your webcam or mobile device to record your practice. Practice materials and accessories, capo, pick, tuner, strings. And then step 3 is going to be prepare your materials. And this is setting up everything, the technology, and the Spark Amp. So install the app, install PreSonus Studio 1 for your digital audio workstation, the Windows driver, the PDF reader, the mobile Bluetooth connection, and then the Bluetooth audio connection, both connections to the amp. Connect the USB cable between the computers, set up your 4 basic lead tones, which we went through today, and optional, get the tone presets from the Spark Amp app Tone Cloud, which we went through today. On this page right here is where I will have the videos for each of these steps that could use a little bit of help on the videos. So there we go. That's week 1, getting set up for success. Some of the things we had talked about before, some we haven't. Very important if you have a Spark Amp to spend some time working with that. But if you don't, you can set up with the things that you have. Remember that we have the contest here. Let's see if I can. I'm going to put that back in one more time. And the page is live. I checked it out earlier this morning. And that's positivegrid.com/play guitar. And get over there and sign up for it. Like I said, episode 4, I'll be announcing the winners of that. And that's fun. It's a lot of fun. Love stuff like that. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and spend a little bit of time in the chat for a while. And thanks everybody for hanging out with me. And then we'll call it after that. I'm going to go back. I've missed a lot of chat here. Let's see here. David says, and I want to win that Spark. If I did, I have to give it an Academy member. And yeah. Or you could run 2 of them, Let's see here. Dwayne says, I've been missing the Academy group. Yeah, that's going to be coming back. I'm just playing a little bit of catch up right now. Needed to. There was a lot of things that were falling behind. And I've got some new ideas for the Academy group as well. Have a lot more fun with that. Let's see here. Jason reminded us about that Spark video recording. We're going to be using that a lot over the next 3 weeks. Chris said, I like trying to wear guitars out. That's right. That's right. Let's see what happens. How much can this guitar take? But he says, but I don't like all that forced relic stuff or dragging the guitar along the street attached to the back of a car. Yeah. I did that one time. Just I had an old beat up guitar body and I ended up giving it away. And I got old guitars and they still look new. I just can't beat them up on purpose. Let's see here. Coke says, I customized my guitar recently with a charred wood pick guard and replaced knobs. Cool. That would look good. I've seen those pick guards before. Chris says, don't forget to hit the like. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. And David earlier said, and make sure you turn up the volume of Bluetooth connection. It's separate from the amp volume. Yeah, it's there's a little, this is the volume for the amplifier. And then back behind it, there's a little black knob, a smaller black knob. And that is the volume for the Bluetooth audio that comes from your phone. Jason says, I think they're adding a Klon pedal and possibly a Dumble amp in the update coming soon. Cool. Yeah, they have some great amps, but that would be cool to get some more. And Dean says, that orange is my favorite amp on my Spark amp. I love that orange amp. This one, the AD Clean. Let's see if I can bring this one and the other one, the Rocker V or Rocker 5. I like both of those amps. They both are really good models right there. And Jason said, DOD OD 250 or MX or Distortion Plus maybe. Yeah. They there's a lot of different. Let's go through the pedals, just for fun. So we have a tube. Let's see here. Sorry. There's a booster, and can you see? No, let me turn it on. I think it froze on me. Yeah, it froze on me. But I'll just say them out loud. There's a booster, which is like an MXR micro amp, tube driver, tube screamer to tube drive, the overdrive. To me, it had like kind of a, like a Boss type thing. Fuzz face, the black op, which is kind of like a bass muff, and the guitar muff, which are fun too. The bass master, and then the SAB driver, which I think is kind of like a boutique type pedal as well. That was cool too. I enjoyed playing that. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 9 different drive pedals that we can use there. Okay, everybody. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today. Jason was just guessing at that yellow overdrive. Yeah, it reminds me of that. I don't have it. Yeah, it's right there. I think it's the OD3. It was what it reminded me of. But who knows? You never know. It could be modeled after something else. But anyway, okay. Well, that was fun, you guys. Looking forward to next week. Next week there's going to be some downloads and those things. I'll have a special course place where you can sign up and get a bunch of downloads next week. This week the downloads are going to be on the main page and then also in Tone Cloud. So let's see here. Let's see. Dwayne says, I'm listening to Lee on the Spark amp right now. Going to download the amps after we're done here. Cool. Tell me what you think. Tell me if they're fun. I enjoyed getting those together. And I get into more detail on the podcast, and that comes out this evening. It's all set up and ready to go. And take a look tomorrow. I'll be putting up different videos for installation for all of these, for the Presonus Studio One. I'm doing that tomorrow morning. The app and the Bluetooth, I've already filmed that, and then the driver, and then the PDF reader I will do tomorrow as well. Okay, everybody, that was fun. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And if I didn't see you in the chat, thank you for hanging out with me. And we will get this going on today. That's a wrap. Thanks for joining me today for the Play Guitar Podcast. Make sure to hit the button below to subscribe to the show. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the notification bell so you can get all of my content as soon as it comes out. If you're ready to fill in the cracks and use my roadmap to get your playing moving forward again, I'm ready to help. Head on over to playguitaracademy.com. Thanks again, and I will see you on the next episode.